Hello, everyone. It has been way too long. I'm so glad to be back. Let me see. Anyone is here right now. If you're here, tell me if you can see or hear me. And my name is Ezra, also known as E-Soup. And today, we are reading chapters 16 through 19. And you can check the trigger warnings in the description. Please give the video a like. I would really appreciate it. And, it's been hello. Hi, Nina. I'm sorry that you have to dip out in a little bit, but that's fine. I totally understand. I was just traveling, and just, because of, some family stuff. And so I apologize if I'm a little bit tired today. I also got a cold again. I'm getting over it. So hopefully I'm not too, sniffy through this. But yeah, I'm really excited to find out what happens next, in this ridiculous book, and I say that lovingly. We're gonna have the next few streams in very close succession. We're gonna be finishing the book before we know it, really, because we have today, then we have a stream tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, and then we next week we go back to our regular schedule Monday, Wednesday. So it's just gonna be like bang, 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 and then we finish the book. I can't believe we're kind of that close already. I know, like, I'm about halfway through, but just because of the schedule, it's like, oh my god, we're like, and we're almost there practically, and I'm wondering what in God's name is going to happen between now and then. So, because we had oh, hi Tina. Oh, you made it on time. That's awesome. Yeah, basically we're finishing the second half of the book in like a week. Very squished together. I'm not used to doing it this way, but I'm just really glad that I could fit these streams in at the end of the week instead of having to like push everything back. I'm thankful for that. So where we left off, we had the whole there's only one bed situation, and that was fun. And I believe they still need to talk to the police about what happened. So, we are on page 209 for chapter 16, which is called But We Argued Until We Parted Ways Again. Hu Yu and Xie Qingcheng ignored each other throughout the rest of the investigation process. When they were released, Xie Qingcheng took the liberty of hailing a taxi for himself and Xie Shui. Xie Shui wanted to wait for He Yu so that they could leave together. But Xie Qingcheng refused outright and shoved her down by the back of her head, stuffing her into the car without a word of explanation. Damn. He Yu simply leaned back quietly against a pillar with his hands clasped behind his back as he watched the scene. He didn't make a sound, nor did he try to force the matter. He looked like a dog that knew it had been abandoned, but couldn't chase after its master. This made Xie Shui feel extremely uncomfortable. Get the dog metaphors. Again. He Yu, why don't we wait for him? Get in. But, get in. Then, He Yu, let me know when you get home, okay? Xie Shui said weakly. Are you done? Xie Qingcheng snapped. We're leaving. Xie Shui wanted to say more, but He Yu quietly shook his head, signaling for her to stop talking. Once Shiashue had reluctantly settled down into the car, he merely waved at her, then watched as their car drove away. Shiashue sunk into her seat and couldn't help but let out a sigh. Guh, what's up with you two this time? Xie Qingcheng didn't feel like responding. He opened the pack of cigarettes he'd pilfered from Chen Man and was just about to light one when he remembered that Shiashue was behind him in the back seat and stopped. He held the cigarette between his teeth as he rested his elbow against the open window and gazed with a dead expression at the city nightscape flashing by on the other side of the glass instead. Did He Yu mess up and say something wrong and make you angry? Shiashue ventured quietly. Xie Qingcheng answered her question with stony silence. Guh, don't blame him too much. He's a bit volatile at times, but he's still a good person at heart. I heard that this time, if it weren't for him, you two wouldn't have realized I was missing in time, and rushed over and things might have been a lot worse. He what? Xie Qingcheng snapped. He held the cigarette between his fingers and continued in a condemning tone. I told you to stay away from him, so why are you hanging out with him all the time? Shiashue felt a bit wronged, too. But he's a good person. He treats me nicely, and he's respectful to you. Xie Qingcheng was so disgusted he couldn't even speak. Respectful. Like hell he was respectful. It was, and had always been, just him putting on an act in front of others. But even so, he couldn't tell Shiashue about He Yu's disease. You know, it didn't even occur to me. Shiashue doesn't know about He Yu's psychological Ebola. She does not know. I don't know why. I don't know if that was ever addressed. I don't know why I didn't think of that, but she does not know. Yeah. Hi, Henry. You didn't miss very much. I just started, and Xie Qingcheng was being snappy because he's mad at He Yu. Shiashue only ever saw He Yu's usual virtuously elegant and gentlemanly disguise. Even if he were to speak of the indignities he had suffered at He Yu's hands, even his own sister wouldn't be able to believe him. He could only bite his tongue and bear it. Guh, shut up. Shiashue froze. This was what always happened with family. The moment after surviving a calamity, everyone would think, we'll never fight again for the rest of our lives. We'll live happily together and talk to each other properly by communicating gently. But the heightened, tender affections brought upon by the shock of traumatic events were no more than a buff. And once they wore off, the disciplinarian would go back to disciplining, while the person receiving the discipline would go back to being disciplined. And there's a footnote for buff. Buff, slang used in gaming to describe temporary positive status effects on characters. I don't know why that's a funny footnote to me. It's not, like, about Chinese culture or, like, an expression. It's just, like, you need to know this gaming term, by the way. Like, communicating gently. Yeah. Yeah, I was also missing, the streams on Monday and Wednesday. It has really been too long. Everyone would return to their familiar roles, and exchanges would be just as foul-mouthed as ever. It really fucking was just a temporary panacea. Shiashue felt mistreated, but there was nothing she could do. Who made him her elder brother? Whatever. If she didn't coddle him, then who would? She would just have to indulge that parental temper of his. At this thought, she crossed her arms and somewhat exasperatedly pursed her lips. She didn't know why her brother kept telling her to keep her distance from such a talented, refined, and morally virtuous boy like He Yu. It had reached the point where it seemed as if her brother actually had some major objection to him, but what could it be? It was truly baffling. Maybe she should ask him for specifics. After a while, Shia spoke up again. Oh, by the way, Xie Qingcheng didn't bother acknowledging her, but Xie knew that her brother's silence meant, if you have something to say, spit it the fuck out. Thus, she cautiously said, earlier when I was resting, he called and asked what happened. Xie Qingcheng didn't ask who he was, as though both siblings had tacitly agreed to refer to him as such. What did you say to him? Xie Qingcheng asked. What else could I say? I just said every- Maybe you can see me. Oh, yeah, okay, so, I'm using my hotspot, but I'm gonna go reset my router, because that's a better connection when it's, you know, actually working. Hey guys. I don't know if you could see me right now, or if it's showing, like, really old, um, video. It's kind of freaking out, but, I reset my router, so I'm on hotspot right now, so the connection is probably terrible, and I'm just waiting for it to reset. They can't have a stream without streaming issues, I guess. So we're just gonna sit here for a second. I'm sorry if you get a little bit of the, quote thing and it's super laggy, because that's probably not very pleasant. I think?